Long before the gods of Greece or Egypt, there existed a force older than time itself, a primordial goddess of chaos, whose fury could unmake the world. Her name is Tiamat, and her story was nearly erased from history. Today, we dive into the forgotten gods of Mesopotamia, where chaos and creation collide. Before the shining gods of Olympus, before the mighty pharaohs of Egypt, there was a world ruled not by order, but by chaos. A time when the heavens themselves trembled, and the earth quaked under the weight of powers too terrible for mortal eyes to behold. In the dark waters of creation lurked beings of unimaginable wrath, primordial gods whose very existence defied comprehension. Among them, one name strikes fear into the heart of any who dare whisper it: Tiamat. She was no mere goddess, she was the storm that devoured worlds, the embodiment of chaos incarnate, a monstrous force whose hunger could unmake creation itself. Her serpentine form stretched across the cosmos, scales glinting like shards of midnight, eyes burning with the fury of 1,000 suns. The ancients feared her. They built temples, offered sacrifices, carved symbols into stone, yet even their devotion could barely contain her. And when she rose, the heavens split, the mountains shattered, and the rivers boiled with the terror of her wrath. Her story, like the blackest shadow of night, has been nearly lost to time. Forgotten by scholars, hidden in crumbling tablets, erased from memory, but echoes remain. Whispers in the ruins speak of her fury, murals show her monstrous form, and the ancient chants, still barely audible, carry the horror of her power across millennia. Tonight, we peel back the veil of history and descend into the abyss of the forgotten gods. We will witness the fury of Tiamat and the chaos she unleashed, the primordial secrets that shaped the very foundations of our world. Step carefully, for the stories of these ancient deities are not tales to be taken lightly, and the darkness they left behind may reach further than you ever imagined. In the beginning, before the sun lit the skies, before the mountains tore through the earth, there was only darkness and stillness. Nothing but the endless void, stretching infinitely in all directions, a silence so deep it was almost alive. From this eternal emptiness emerged the first beings, primordial and incomprehensible to mortal minds. There was Apsu, the embodiment of fresh, flowing waters, calm, silent, yet brimming with a dangerous, latent power. And there was Tiamat, the saltwater goddess, vast and monstrous, her body coiling through the darkness like an endless serpent. She was beauty and horror entwined, creation and destruction fused in one terrifying being. Her breath was the wind of storms, her eyes the molten fury of the cosmos, her movements splitting the waters and shaking the void. These two forces, Apsu, the quiet intelligence, and Tiamat, the chaotic rage, danced in the darkness, their union birthing the first deities, sparks of consciousness that would become the builders and destroyers of worlds. But their harmony was fragile. Apsu's patience waned as the younger gods stirred, their noise echoing across the void, disturbing the primordial order. Anger brewed, deep and relentless, within the ancient waters, and Tiamat's fury, already untamed, began to fester. From this turbulent union, the first storms of creation erupted. Mountains rose like jagged teeth, rivers formed from her saltwater tears, and stars ignited in the darkness as sparks of divine chaos. Yet it was not beauty alone that was born, it was terror, too. The younger gods, bold and restless, challenged the ancient order, and whispers of rebellion filled the cosmic void. Imagine the scene, an endless, starless night pierced by the glowing forms of godlike beings, battling unseen, their cries echoing across the newborn universe. The clash of power shook reality itself, creating rifts where time and space had yet to form. It was here, in the violent dance between order and chaos, between the calm of Apsu and the storm of Tiamat, that the first universe took shape, an unstable, trembling realm, born not from light or wisdom, but from fear, fury, and unimaginable power. And though we cannot see it today, remnants of this terrifying birth remain etched in the stars, hidden in the ruins of forgotten temples, whispered through myths that survived the collapse of civilizations. Tiamat's shadow stretches even now, her chaotic essence seeping into the bones of the earth, reminding us that creation itself was born from madness and horror beyond imagining. Among the forgotten deities of Mesopotamia, one being towers above all others in both power and terror, Tiamat, the primordial goddess of chaos, the monstrous mother of gods, the serpentine embodiment of unbridled fury. She was not a goddess to be revered lightly, nor a figure of mere mythology. She was the living, breathing storm before the dawn of creation, the chaos that preceded order, a force so immense that the earth itself shuddered at her presence. Tiamat was often depicted as a colossal dragon or sea serpent, her scales like molten night, her eyes glowing with an inner fire that could sear through reality. Her vast, sinuous body twisted through the cosmic waters, each coil a galaxy in its own right, each movement sending shockwaves through the void. The ancients feared her not merely for her size, but for what she represented: pure, unfettered chaos, a force beyond morality or reason, capable of unmaking everything with a flick of her tail or a breath of her storm-swept fury. She was the mother of monsters, of terrible beings born from her essence, each a fragment of her power, dragons, serpents, and entities that would later be used to wage cosmic war against the younger gods. Her very existence challenged the fledgling order of the universe. Her chaotic nature was a living reminder that beneath the fragile structures of life, beneath the carefully constructed heavens and earth, lurked a darkness that could erase everything in an instant. Tiamat's significance extended far beyond fear. In Mesopotamian myth, she symbolized the eternal struggle between chaos and order, a cycle that underpins all creation. She was both destruction and origin, a reminder that creation itself is born from conflict, that life cannot exist without the shadow of annihilation. Her story is a warning: the cosmos is never stable, never peaceful, and the forces that govern existence are as unpredictable as the stormy seas she embodies. The myths describe her as vengeful and cunning. When the younger gods conspired against her mate, Apsu, Tiamat's wrath boiled over. She became the architect of war, summoning legions of monsters and shaping them from her very body to defend the primordial order she embodied. Her army was terrifying in its diversity: serpents with venom that could melt stone, dragons whose roar split mountains, and countless other beings, each a fragment of her chaos-given form. To witness her army was to see the universe itself rise in revolt, an endless tide of destruction, impossible to halt, impossible to reason with. Yet, Tiamat was not mindless. She was intelligent, calculating, and terrifyingly patient, embodying a type of primordial wisdom that mortal minds cannot comprehend. She represented the dark, uncontrollable forces that lurk beneath all creation: the storms, the seas, the untamed wilderness, and the raw, unshaped potential of the cosmos itself. To the Mesopotamians, she was a deity to be feared, respected, and remembered, for to ignore her was to invite the very chaos she personified into the fragile order of one's own life. Her shadow lingers even today. In dragons of later myths, in tales of cosmic serpents that threaten the world, in storms and tidal waves that sweep across civilizations, one can glimpse her echo. Tiamat is not gone, she is never truly gone. Chaos persists, lying dormant beneath the structures of order humans cling to, waiting, coiling in the depths, a silent, eternal warning of the power that birthed the universe and could unmake it again. To study Tiamat is to stare into the abyss itself. To understand her is to understand that chaos is the womb of creation, and fear the midwife. And to hear her story fully is to feel the cold, eternal shiver of the universe, vast, indifferent, and darkly alive. From the endless, storm-tossed waters of Tiamat, from her coils of darkness and fury, arose a new generation of gods, bold, restless, and ambitious. Among them was Marduk, the god of storms, wind, and destiny, a deity born not of chaos itself, but forged in the shadow of it. He was youthful, cunning, and possessed a spark of brilliance the primordial gods could scarcely comprehend. But even he was small in comparison to the titanic presence of Tiamat, whose monstrous form dominated the cosmos like an endless nightmare. These younger gods were not mere observers, they were ambitious, hungry for power, and filled with both awe and fear at the destructive potential of the primordial forces around them. They whispered among themselves, plotting, scheming, and daring to challenge the ancient order that had existed since time immemorial. For the first time, the delicate balance of creation trembled, as chaos confronted its potential rival, order. The conflict was inevitable. Tiamat, enraged at the younger god's audacity, marshaled her monstrous children, horrific beings that seemed conjured from the very nightmares of existence. Dragons with scales sharp as obsidian, serpents that could coil around stars, and hybrid beasts whose forms twisted the mind itself, all rose from her depths, writhing and screaming with the fury of the ancient seas. The universe itself quaked as Tiamat's power surged outward, a tidal wave of destruction and rage that threatened to unmake reality. Marduk, undaunted by the scale of terror before him, stepped forward, embodying a force that the Mesopotamians called order, a will to impose structure on the endless, churning chaos. He was not stronger in raw might, but his mind was sharp, his courage unparalleled, and his vision clear. Where Tiamat embodied pure instinct, fury, and devastation, Marduk brought strategy, planning, and intelligence. Their conflict would not be a mere battle, it would be a cosmic war, a struggle for the very soul of existence. In this clash, we can perceive a timeless pattern, the eternal struggle of dark versus light, chaos versus order, destruction versus creation. Stories across cultures would echo this theme for millennia: dragons slain by heroes, storms tamed by kings, darkness challenged by light. The tale of Tiamat and Marduk is the primordial blueprint for all mythic conflict, the origin story of every cosmic struggle humans have ever imagined. Yet even as Marduk rose to face her, the young gods trembled. To confront Tiamat was to stare into the abyss itself, to risk being consumed by a power older than stars, older than time, older than memory. The air of the universe seemed to crackle with tension. Every ripple of Tiamat's vast body threatened to topple planets, every beat of her heart could shatter civilizations yet to be born. And still, Marduk, the fledgling god of order, advanced, wielding weapons forged from the heavens themselves, prepared to confront the chaos that threatened to swallow all creation. In the end, this was not merely a battle of strength. It was a test of will, a confrontation between pure, unrestrained entropy and the first glimmers of structured existence. From the struggle of Tiamat and Marduk, the universe would learn that chaos alone cannot sustain creation, yet order alone cannot exist without the energy, fury, and unpredictability that only chaos provides. It was a cosmic dance, terrifying in its scale, awe-inspiring in its consequence, a battle that would shape the destiny of gods, humans, and the very fabric of reality itself. And though the younger gods would prevail, their victory forever carried the shadow of Tiamat's wrath, a reminder that chaos is never destroyed, it is only contained, lurking beneath the foundations of existence, waiting, coiling, ready to rise again when the arrogance of order dares to challenge it. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath as the inevitable confrontation approached. From the endless, storm-choked void, Tiamat rose, her monstrous coils twisting like serpentine mountains, her eyes burning with the fury of primordial fire. From the depths of her body emerged her army, horrors the likes of which the world had never seen. Serpents with venom that could melt stone, dragons whose wings darkened the skies, and hybrid beasts with claws that could rend the cosmos. Their roar was a chorus of annihilation, echoing across the void and shaking the very bones of creation. Against this tidal wave of chaos, Marduk stood alone, a god of cunning and courage. His weapon, a net woven from the winds and the heavens, crackled with divine energy. In one hand, He carried the four winds, tools of confinement, in the other, the celestial bow, which fired arrows that could pierce even the scales of the monstrous Tiamat. He was small, fragile even, against the sprawling fury of the primordial goddess, but within him burned the first spark of order, the spark that could bend chaos to the will of the cosmos. The battle began with a storm unlike any other. Tiamat unleashed her fury, tidal waves of saltwater fire, raining meteors and tearing stars from the sky. Lightning arced from her eyes, striking with the intensity of 1,000 suns. Her roar shattered planets into dust, and the screams of her monstrous army filled the void with madness. Reality itself seemed to fracture under the weight of her rage. Marduk, however, did not falter. He weaved the winds into a net, ensnaring Tiamat's monstrous form, binding her coils with the precision of divine strategy. He unleashed the four winds like a gale-force hammer, battering her from all sides, blinding her, disorienting her. And when the moment was right, he struck with his spear, a blow infused with the essence of creation itself. The clash was cataclysmic. Stars fell like embers, comets shattered into streams of cosmic fire, and the void became a battlefield of unimaginable scale. The younger gods watched from afar, trembling, as the primordial forces clashed, knowing that if Marduk failed, the universe itself would dissolve into chaos, consumed by Tiamat's eternal hunger. In the end, it was not sheer strength that won the day, but cunning, courage, and the first act of cosmic order. Marduk's spear pierced the heart of Tiamat, shattering her form into fragments, splitting her body across the void. Her monstrous army fell, bound and defeated, their screams fading into silence. And from the wreckage of her body, Marduk crafted the heavens and the earth, molding the universe from the remnants of chaos. The significance of this battle cannot be overstated. It was the first act of cosmic order, the birth of structure from unrestrained chaos. It established the eternal dichotomy: chaos will always lurk beneath, threatening to rise, while order strives to contain it. And yet, the shadow of Tiamat never fully vanished. Her essence remained in the storms, the seas, the chaos that flickers through the veins of creation. The universe, forged in her fury and shaped by Marduk's cunning, carries her memory to this very day. This was not just a fight of gods, it was the war that gave birth to everything, the struggle that shaped the heavens, the earth, and the destiny of all beings. And in every whisper of wind, in every crash of storm, in every shadow that flickers at the edge of reality, one can feel the echo of that epic clash, the eternal struggle between chaos and order, a struggle that will never truly end. When Tiamat fell, defeated yet undiminished in her terror, her colossal body did not simply vanish, it became the raw material of the universe itself. From her shattered form, Marduk carved the heavens, slicing her massive, scaly body in two. One half he raised to form the sky, a dome of shimmering, storm-laden beauty, while the other half he cast down to become the solid earth beneath. Her blood became rivers and seas, her bones the mountains and cliffs, her eyes the sun and moon that watch over the world to this day. Even in death, Tiamat's chaos was repurposed, transformed into the foundation of all life and order, a chilling reminder that creation itself is born from destruction. Her legacy was not merely physical. Every storm that rages across the world, every tidal wave that crashes upon the shores, every earthquake that shakes the foundations of human cities, all carry fragments of Tiamat's fury. To the Mesopotamians, these natural forces were not random, they were the echoes of a cosmic battle, the lingering wrath of a goddess who had shaped the universe with her body and her spirit. Order and structure exist only because chaos was first confronted and contained. Without the violent, uncontrollable energy of Tiamat, the stars would not shine, the rivers would not flow, the mountains would not rise. This is the paradox of creation in Mesopotamian thought: chaos is the mother of order. Life, civilization, and the cosmos themselves arise only when the raw, unbridled forces of nature and divinity are harnessed, structured, and directed. The destruction of Tiamat did not erase her power, it channeled it, molded it, gave it shape, and through that very act, brought life and stability to the universe. The symbolism is profound, terrifying, and beautiful in its cosmic scale. Tiamat's defeat is not a story of victory alone, it is a lesson that creation and destruction are inseparable. Chaos is not the enemy of existence, it is its source. Her monstrous form, split across the cosmos, serves as both a warning and a gift. The universe is fragile, yet alive, held together by forces as dangerous as they are necessary. Every mountain, every ocean, every stormy sky is a fragment of her memory, a reminder of the primal fury that shaped the world. To the Mesopotamians, this was the ultimate understanding of the cosmos. The universe is a living, breathing battlefield where chaos and order eternally intertwine. Humans, gods, and nature alike are caught in this cosmic rhythm, where creation rises from destruction, and life itself emerges from the shadow of the abyss. In this understanding, Tiamat is not merely a defeated foe, she is the mother of all existence, the source of both fear and wonder, whose legacy pulses through every corner of the world. And so, as we gaze upon the skies, study the rivers, and walk among the mountains, we are walking upon Tiamat's body, living within her memory, surrounded by the chaos that was tamed but never fully destroyed. Her legacy reminds us that true order can never exist without chaos, and that life itself is born from the storm. The universe, shaped by the clash of divine forces, carries her presence eternally, a dark, powerful, and haunting testament to the goddess who gave birth to everything from the very heart of destruction. Even after Tiamat's body was split and the cosmos shaped from her chaos, she and the other primordial gods did not vanish from the consciousness of humanity. For centuries, the people of Mesopotamia whispered their names in fear and awe, carved their likenesses into stone, and built temples to honor, or perhaps placate, the ancient powers that once ruled the universe. Priests and priestesses performed rituals that stretched the imagination and chilled the soul. They invoked Tiamat's name, not to summon her, but to acknowledge the power that flowed through all things, the chaos that could erupt at any moment. Blood, water, and fire were offered, carefully measured and prepared in intricate ceremonies meant to mirror the cosmic battles of old. Through these rites, the ancients sought to maintain a fragile balance, to channel the dangerous energy of Tiamat and her monstrous children, to keep chaos at bay while fostering life and civilization. Artifacts from that era survive, fragments of clay tablets etched with cuneiform, depicting serpentine forms with eyes like burning embers, monstrous armies, and swirling cosmic waters. These tablets are not merely historical records, they are windows into the minds of those who lived under the shadow of gods far larger, far older, and far more terrifying than themselves. Symbols of coils, spirals, and jagged teeth appear repeatedly, a hidden language of power that spoke of knowledge humanity was not meant to fully grasp. Temples and ziggurats rose across the ancient lands, built as gateways to the divine, their steps echoing the rhythms of creation and destruction. They were places of worship, yes, but also of secrecy. Hidden chambers contained relics whose purposes are lost to time, strange, curved implements, bowls etched with symbols that twist the mind, and ceremonial masks that transformed the wearer into an echo of the gods themselves. Some say these rituals were dangerous, that those who performed them without proper knowledge did not survive, swallowed by the very chaos they sought to control. Over millennia, Tiamat and her kin were gradually forgotten. Their names faded, their stories obscured by newer gods and evolving religions. Yet fragments remain, hidden in myths, in the margins of texts, in the whispers of scholars and the symbols carved into ruins long abandoned. And perhaps most chilling of all, some of these secrets may still be encoded in ways we cannot yet decipher, waiting in the dark for those who dare to uncover them. What secrets did they leave behind? What knowledge did they carve into stone that we have yet to understand? Could the rituals of the ancients, if performed again, awaken echoes of the chaos that shaped the universe? The answers are lost, scattered across the ruins of a world that once trembled before gods like Tiamat. And yet, there is a lingering presence, subtle and haunting, in every storm that rages, every ocean that swells, every shadow that flickers at the edges of light. It is a reminder that the old gods, though forgotten by most, never truly leave. Their knowledge, their power, and their fury remain, hidden, dangerous, and waiting. For those who seek it, the path is fraught with terror, but for those who dare to follow, the rewards may be as boundless as the universe itself. Though Tiamat was defeated and her name nearly erased from memory, her essence has never truly vanished. The chaos she embodied, the monstrous power she wielded, and the cosmic fury she unleashed have echoed across millennia, seeping into the myths, stories, and imaginations of civilizations far removed from her ancient waters. Every dragon that breathes fire in legend, every serpentine horror lurking in the depths of games, films, and literature, carries a fragment of Tiamat's monstrous soul. Consider the dragons of European myth, colossal, serpentine, terrifying creatures that hoard treasure and strike fear into mortal hearts. Their ancestry traces, unknowingly, to the primordial serpents of Mesopotamia, born of Tiamat's fury. The storms and tidal waves she created are mirrored in stories of cataclysmic battles where heroes face overwhelming odds, where worlds hang in the balance, and where destruction and creation are inseparable. In every narrative of chaos confronting order, we hear the faint, ancient roar of the primordial goddess. Modern media is haunted by her influence. In role-playing games, fantasy novels, and films, Tiamat's legacy persists as the ultimate adversary, a dragon of multiple heads, a creature whose very presence warps reality and whose return could spell annihilation. From video games like Dungeons and Dragons, where Tiamat herself is a multi-headed, world-ending deity, to films and anime that depict chaos bringers striking at civilization, her myth is resurrected and reimagined, terrifying yet compelling. Even in literature and popular mythos, echoes of Mesopotamian horror appear in stories of cosmic dread. H.P. Lovecraft's unspeakable horrors, the eldritch abominations that dwell beyond mortal comprehension, are spiritual descendants of Tiamat, the ancient chaos that exists beyond human morality, beyond time, beyond reason. She embodies the fear that creation itself is fragile, that beneath the surface of the ordered world lies a monstrous, primordial reality waiting to reclaim everything. And yet, there is fascination intertwined with horror. Humans are irresistibly drawn to the chaos Tiamat represents. We are captivated by stories of monstrous gods, cosmic battles, and primordial forces that dwarf our comprehension. From the architecture of fantasy cities built to withstand dragons, to films depicting cataclysmic floods and tempests, her influence permeates culture. Her chaos becomes a lens through which we explore fear, awe, and the limits of human courage. Tiamat's legacy is a reminder that chaos is eternal, and order is temporary. Her story continues to teach us, frighten us, and inspire our myths, games, and imaginations. Every clash between hero and monster, every cosmic disaster, every narrative where the balance of the world hangs by a thread, is a fragment of Tiamat's enduring presence. She is the terror in our nightmares, the dark force behind the legends we tell, the whisper in our stories that reminds us that the universe is not stable, not kind, and never fully within our control. The old gods are gone, yet their shadows remain. The chaos that once threatened to unmake the cosmos still coils beneath the surface of our imagination, waiting to emerge in a new form, in a new story, in a new battle. And in every whisper of storm, in every roaring ocean, in every dragon's cry echoing across fiction and fantasy, one can feel her presence, the eternal, terrifying legacy of Tiamat, the primordial goddess of chaos. Tiamat may have been defeated, her monstrous body split to form the heavens and the earth, her fury seemingly contained by Marduk and the younger gods, but chaos is never truly vanquished. It does not die. It waits. It lingers. In every storm that lashes the coast, in every tidal wave that swallows the shore, in every shadow flickering at the edge of firelight, the presence of Tiamat whispers, a reminder that order is fragile, and the darkness beneath the cosmos is eternal. Even now, her legacy courses through stories, myths, and the very fabric of human imagination. Every dragon, every chaos bringer, every tale of destruction and rebirth echoes the terrifying power she once commanded. She is both forgotten and remembered, hidden in plain sight, a shadow that stretches across time, threatening and mesmerizing all at once. Her chaos shaped the universe, and in subtle ways, it still shapes us today. We live in a world that thinks itself ordered, safe, and rational, but the truth is that beneath every civilization, beneath every law, beneath every story we tell, there is chaos waiting. The same chaos that gave birth to gods, monsters, and worlds, still coils beneath the surface, unseen but undeniably present. To study Tiamat is to understand that the universe is alive with forces beyond comprehension, and that even in triumph, chaos leaves its mark. So now, I leave you with a question: what if the forgotten gods are not gone at all? What secrets lie hidden in the ruins, the storms, the myths we dismiss as old tales? Could Tiamat's essence still ripple through reality, waiting for a time to awaken again? Think of the old gods, the primordial chaos, and tell me, what do you believe remains hidden, even today? If you dare, share your thoughts below. Which forgotten deity terrifies you the most? Which myth do you think still holds a secret truth? And if you felt the echo of Tiamat's chaos in stories, games, or nightmares, I want to hear about it. And for those hungry for more, our next journey will explore another lost god of Mesopotamia, a deity whose shadow stretches even further into darkness than Tiamat herself. Be ready, for the abyss is vast, and the forgotten gods are waiting.